Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. We're coming to you live from Mainnet 2023 in New York City. And joining me for this segment, we have Ellis Norman, Chief Revenue Officer at Hexens, to discuss blockchain security and neutralizing the biggest threats in the blockchain space. Ellis, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to TradeTalks.
Jill, thanks for having me on.
You got it. Give us an overview of Hexens.
Happy to. So Hexens is truly the most hardcore team in cybersecurity and Web3. We're the leading experts on novel cryptography, including zero-knowledge proofs, liquid staking solutions, and more. We provide products that encompass the entire security lifecycle, so think hardware security to smart contract audits to traditional Web2 pen testing and everything else. On top of that, we work with tier 1 projects throughout Web3, Polygon, Lido, 1inch, Nubank, and a ton more. And then to boot, we're also developing tools and products which we are confident will totally disrupt the Web3 cybersecurity space.
So what's your approach to neutralizing threats in the industry?
Great question. So looking at just the last 18 months, we've seen over $4.2 billion hacked from Web3 from bad actors. And the reality is that we will never see mass adoption actually happen until retail investors can actually trust DeFi and Web3 in the same way that they do traditional finance. So Hexens, we're very deeply committed to the idea that security is the biggest barrier to regulation, regulation being the biggest barrier to mass adoption in Web3. So that being said, and trying to not give away our secret sauce, if you would, every Hexens scope employs the most hardcore and the most expert security analysts in the market as hands-on as humanly possible.
Hackers are continually evolving, right? So I would imagine Hexens has to evolve as well. How are you keeping up with the hackers?
We do, and that is absolutely for sure. So the reality is that you're only as secure as the people that you surround yourself with. So that's why we 100% only hire the best white hat hackers in the market, period. And then to boot, we're focusing on people that have that hacker mindset. So somebody that can think outside of the box, that can find new vulnerabilities, that can find new attack surfaces, and actually bring that to market with Hexens.
What's the biggest threat in Web3 as it relates to cybersecurity?
I'm going to try and answer this without sounding too cryptic. So in our eyes, the biggest threat to Web3 is actually Web3 itself. Mm-hmm. You see essentially small to medium-sized projects, in some cases making poor decisions when it comes to security purposes, and that is for a lot of different reasons, whether it's trying to get to market quicker or whether it's trying to find the next round of funding. The reality is that poor decisions lead to poor security, and at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're finding a security partner that you can trust and the work is quality.
I think that makes sense, and I also think the valuation reset we've seen in the private markets or growthier spaces like this, where governance and security is more of a priority than it was growth at any cost or fundraising. So perhaps that was a good thing as people start to think about the more critical components of running a company. So how has the state of blockchain security evolved since you became in the industry, and where do you think it stands today?
So I transitioned out of a traditional commodities career back in 2017, probably when that first wave of retail public fervor kind of hit the market. So in 6 years, a lot's changed in the crypto space, to say the least. But let's talk about just the last two. So in the last 2 years, in DeFi summer, we had NFT projects and tokens coming out. It seemed like 1,000 every day. Well, since then, and since the bear market has really set in, what we found is that those that are left are building meaningful infrastructure that comes with a lot more complexity. So we've found that over the last few years, though there is less projects that need security, the projects that are left are far more complex and need a good team.
So how do investors, how do users of Web3, how do they protect themselves and think about cybersecurity in today's current landscape?
So I think there's a lot of ways to try and stay ahead of the curve. First and foremost, when we're looking to actually possibly work with a client, one of the first things that we're going to do is make sure that the founders are verified. That you can find those founders, speak to them on LinkedIn, reach out to whoever might be the management team. That's number one. Number two is, from an investor perspective, do they already have a trusted security partner? If not, big red flag. If so, who? Because it does actually matter. On top of that, are they audited? If they've been audited, how many times? Who's done the actual audit? Because we need to know the quality that's going on there. Separately, we want to make sure that they have a bug bounty program, because it makes it easier to actually report security flaws and vulnerabilities to the engineering team. If they don't, that's a big red flag. And then finally, you want to make sure that you can contact the engineering team as quickly as possible and not just be thrown into an info pool and never actually get anywhere. So I'd say at the end of the day, it's being able to identify that there's a real team behind the project and making sure that they have a focus on security.
So certainly this is more challenging in the DeFi world, right?
Just a little.
Yeah. All right.
For sure.
Well, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us
Thanks
on
for
Trade
having
Talks. And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.